All right, I gotta adjust a tiny bit. Hey everyone. Okay, so right before I went live, I am live now, but right before then, my camera, something is weird right now with my Facebook horizontal. So I'm waiting for somebody to come on and give me a thumbs up that this is actually the right direction. As far as you can see me, and it may be vertical, but right before I was messing around with it, what happens is the image, when it's horizontal, was stretched like I was in that crazy mirror of an amusement park. It was not pretty. So I'm hoping that you guys can see this and we're not sideways. Karen, can you see me? Good, thanks Terry. Okay, good, I'm glad. This is a weird position to be vertical, and I'm so excited about our little class that I didn't want to not do it, but I'm gonna have to figure out what's happening with my Facebook thing. So, hey Peggy. All right, good. I'm sorry it's this way, but we can get all of our art in, no problem. I hope you guys had an awesome weekend. I worked on a painting. I was gonna even try and show you guys. I'm gonna probably put it up here. I worked on a painting, and it was an old painting I had done, and it was hanging up in my art studio forever, and I just kept looking at it and not loving it. And so I spent most of the weekend doing this and pulling weeds out because it's crazy here. So I'm gonna show you guys. All right, I'm gonna show you the part that I'm gonna go back a little bit. So this is a painting I worked on, so heavy. Look at the sides, how thick they are. All right, I worked on this. I'm trying to, oh my God, it's Monday. Woo, okay. This flower here, if you looked at an older post, sorry, it's crooked. If you looked at an older post, I had these like wonky lines, and they were too spiky and they were really bothering me. So I did this light blue back there, and I love it. I love, love, love. Hold on. And I also did some paint pen lines. So this is a lot of what we're gonna be doing in my Colorful Joy class. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that because I'm so excited. I loved it. And I'm not done, but so I'll be posting about that this week when I can sneak away and keep painting. And so I want to get started on these art cards, but they're not just cards, you guys. They can be, I was thinking, you guys, we can put these in little 5x7 frames. So here are some of them I worked on. So this is like just a close-up view, but they're 5x7. And imagine how cute that would look like in a little frame for someone as a little present, maybe for Mother's Day, maybe for a birthday. And they're so easy to do. I thought this one was kind of fun too, because this had some like background, whoopsie. This had some background stuff on it. And in a minute, oh, thanks you guys. I'm glad you guys like them. They were really fun. You know what was happening was I was running out of all of my, well, not running out completely, but I was doing so many of the flower cards that I was running out of really cool collage material. So then I did a heart, and then that heart led to, this was just in like 2 nights because I've been doing them while I was watching Homeland. That show is driving me crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna move the camera down and I'm gonna show you how I do these. But before I do it, I wanted to just give you a little bit of background of the paper I use, okay? So I use either Bristol, which is great to do painting, and it can take a lot of mixed media. And I also use Fabriano, this is a studio grade watercolor. The thing that I love the most about working on these cards or these pieces of art is to make sure that it's smooth. And the reason I like it to be smooth is because the Stabilo crayons that I'm going to use, or the Neo crayons, I find that they're creamier and they're easier to blend when it's smooth paper. So I use either of these, and I'm going to show you how I get started is I use acrylic paint or acrylic inks. So these are like the little inks that I have. I have a whole variety of these. And today I'm going to be actually using the Nova Color. And the Nova Color is awesome. It's a little bit more affordable than the Goldens and Liquitex, and I just love it. And it's a great company. Their website, you cannot find Nova Colors on Blick or Amazon. You have to go to novacolors.com, something like that. But they're great. I love them. And Betty Krause is a friend and a teacher. I've taken one of her classes before, and she loves those colors and inspired me to do it. All right, so I have some backgrounds I did. I'm gonna do it like a cooking show. I've got some step-by-steps, and oh, is Susie out? Okay, good. I'm glad. I got a little shout out for my sister and my nephew later. So I have these backgrounds, and this is just to show you one of them. Whoopsie. This is a background. You know what? I think I'm gonna do this upside down. It's probably easier to show you guys. So hold on, hang on, put your seatbelts on. Here we go. We're gonna go down onto here. All right, let me just make sure we're all good. Do you see my little rocks here? Yep. All right, got that over there. All right, so some of these backgrounds, there we go. Sorry, I'm not used to the vertical. So whoopsie, oh my God. Okay, I'm not used to the vertical. It's Monday morning. Oh boy, brand new week. Okay, so this is one where I literally took a big fat brush and slapped on my acrylics. And so the thing is, when I'm doing these backgrounds, it's either because it's leftover paint from a painting I'm working on, or it's, you know, I'm intentionally trying to make a background for these cards or these pieces of art. But the trick that I do is I really want to wait between each layer that it's dry so it doesn't get too muddy. I'm going to show you a couple others. This is one where I was just experimenting and goofing around. I like to blot my paper. I use these papers when I have a lot of ink. When I do some paintings on my second layer, I use a lot of inks. And sometimes there's a lot of excess inks. I'll take these pieces of paper and blot it down. And then it's sort of a start for my next, you know, color I want to add. And I think I was just goofing around with some paint pens and some other paints. But this is a piece of paper that I would cut up now. All right, here's another one where I did some inks and also some stencils. And this is fun too, because when you're cutting this up, you don't really know where your marks are gonna be, but just adding a few little stencils here and there. So when I'm working on other acrylic paintings, I have pieces of these papers all over the place just so I can create the cards. Here's another one I did where I did some splatters. I'm not thinking at all about what this background is looking like. And I think the main thing to do is just have fun. It's sort of a meditative way to just get loose, throw some paint down, because we are gonna be going over it. Here's one that I worked on that I don't like this at all. I can't believe I'm showing it to you, but I will cut this all up. So goodbye, flowers. So anyway, what I do is I use an X-Acto knife and my ruler to cut these up into 5x7. And if you don't have an X-Acto knife, one of these, I did a little diagram for you. Okay, if you don't have an X-Acto knife, you just draw out your 5x7, okay? And it doesn't have to be 5x7 either. It's whatever size envelope you have, or it's whatever size frame you have. So you can cut these out. The reason why I like my 14-inch Bristol board, it's 14-inch this way, is because I only have to do one cut then down the middle and then another cut here. And then I have these extra pieces, which, you know, you could end up doing a fun little project with these. I don't know, you could make them into little tiny bookmarks, or you could use them in some collage, but I have a lot of leftover pieces that I use stuff with. All right, so this is basically your first layer is acrylics. inks or paint, splatter, stencil, have fun. And then what I do is I cut them up. And you know what was so funny? I was doing this little demo and I cut up, where are we? Are we still good? I cut up this piece and I'm like, ooh, that's kind of pretty the way it is. I'm always trying to be an abstract, but I don't know. It was kind of fun, but I'm not gonna leave it. I'm gonna show you guys how I get started. So I'm gonna take one of these pieces. These are just pieces of a background I had. It was one sheet of paper. And let me just make sure hold on guys. I just wanna make sure I'm good. I might bring us down a little bit. God, I could drop the phone, hold on. I think that's better. Let me just do a dark one so I can see. All right, we're good. Are we good? Why does this look so light? Okay. So what I do first is I have my background, and then I'm gonna make my heart first before I layer on some crayons. And my hearts are definitely wonky. I mean, they're not perfect. Some are fatter, some are skinny, some are lopsided, and that's totally fine because here are some of my inspiration hearts. Okay, look. These are, whoopsie. These are hearts I found just out and about. Look, these are probably on the beach, probably get arrested because I'm sure I took them from somewhere, but little heart shapes that are not perfect are my favorite kind of hearts. And I love to find like stone hearts too. Anything like that it's so fun. It's really inspiring. And so think about when you're making your heart, not to worry if it's not perfect. So I'm taking my piece, it's dry, and I'm just using a pencil, and I'm gonna lightly, I start in the middle and I just go up on one side, and I'm really loose here, okay? I'm just making my heart. What I try to do is have this side and this side at least somewhat centered, and this side somewhat centered. But on some of these earlier ones, let me see if I can find one. I used also a white pencil, and you can do a little outline. That's another way to put your heart down. I'm just doing a pencil for now, just for the sake of this little demo. But any way you want to do it, I always put my heart shape down first, okay? So I've got my heart here. Here's another one I did. And you can see all my little lines I did to sort of make it into at least centered here and here and here. And you could do 1 or 2 or 3 hearts. It doesn't have to be one big heart. So I'm going to use this one. Nope, I'm actually going to use this one. There's a reason. I started already. Let's see if I'm good. I started already with some of these Stabilo crayons. So let me show you my crayons. Look how cute. They're also in a heart box. My mom gave me that. Love it. So I love these crayons, and the reason why I love these crayons is because they are thick and they are really creamy, and I love how they blend. Sorry about the knocking of my elbow. They're really great to use because I like to also put them on top of each other. I'm just going to grab some fun colors. You can also use just regular crayons and probably pastels, It's anything you have. You don't need to go buy anything. But I started doing some little shapes on here, and I just want to show you some of these. I love this pink, and I'm hoping you can see this and it's not too light, and if not, I'll put it up closer. But I love blending it. And all I do right now this is what I do when I'm watching Homeland or any other shows on TV that I'm not that into, but I'm at home in the living room, is a piece of board, like a book or a clipboard. And I just have so much fun making marks. So right now I'm just going in to some areas and making shapes. So I know my heart's going to be pink. Isn't that blue so beautiful? This might be my favorite color out of the batch. What is this? I don't know if they have colors. I guess not. It's just such a pretty greeny blue. So I kind of like to go around most of this area. You don't have to do it all because some of these pretty colors in here or shapes like these lines you might want to leave in. Let me go over here. I'm just going to add a little bit of my green. Can you guys hear the rain? I'm so excited. It never rains here at this time of year, but we had hardly any rain in the beginning of the year. And my plants are so happy because we could now go from, you know, April, almost the end, mid-April to November or December without rain. So another thing I like to do are these little lines, just marks. They kind of make it really fun. And I also like to go over some of my weird shapes here, these sort of squarey shapes with some lines. The white I'll use quite a bit. My white, that's second, this is first. I'm gonna have to get another white. But I don't know if you can see, I really pressed down. I'm gonna show you in a minute. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm hoping this is, I feel like it might be too light for some reason, but hopefully you guys can see how it just blends together. And so I get to a point where I've done enough of some of these marks, but then what's really great about these crayons, you can use some water and some paintbrushes. And I'm not too sure if Amanda is on, but she was asking me the other day about my paintbrushes. And I just want to tell you guys, like for my class that I have coming up, I am not very good at keeping my paintbrushes really nice and beautiful. So I get really inexpensive brushes. I like to get them. Watercolor brushes for some reason seem to be cheaper. So because I don't take care of them that well, I grab those. But just try and get them in the water when you're done using them. So the thing about the Stabilo is that you can use it wet or dry. So I'm just mixing in, not really mixing in, but I'm just getting my brush a little wet. And then you can actually, so I know that my heart's going to be pink. So I'm going to, you can work right in also. Sometimes the Stabilo on working on top of the water is not as good, but you know, you can just have fun, mess around with it. But I do like using it once it's down and then spreading it out a little bit. So there is a little bit of yellowy orange. And I'm going to do stuff on this side, I think. Get some more blues going. And I'm getting closer to working on the outside of my heart. However, we're going to do a step where we're going to paint the heart, and then you can always come back to this layer of doing the Stabilos and keep working on them. All right, so there is some more. Now you could also use your Neo crayons, which are these. And I really like these as well. They are a little bit more expensive. Look at that gorgeous green. Oh my. I love these color combos. So these also work really well wet. Anything water soluble. So I'm gonna just put in a few more lines and then we're gonna paint this. I'm really pressing down to get that blending in. Let's see what happens. The Neos are a little bit more, I use these more when I want to do more with the water than the Stabilos, but you can do some really fun things. This is a really fun thing I like to do with my crayons. I think I did this with this background here. I think that splattering was done with these little guys. And remember, you're just sort of meditating doing this. You're not really thinking too hard about your next step. It's all going to be good and beautiful and colorful. I'm going to add a little bit more weight. Okay, so for the most part, I'm satisfied with this heart and the background. At some point too, like you may, like this area right here is just acrylic. There's nothing on here, as well as this area is just acrylic. So you could also then take paint pens, jelly pens, you could do little dots down here. I don't like using the paint pens on top of my crayons as much. Whoa, that's kind of fun. Is because I feel like either the tips get ruined or it doesn't really work that well. It's not that smooth. Once I've got the crayons down, it's like a film of wax. So that's just something to think about. I'm just going to make a couple little loopy loops up here. It's just another thing you can add on if you want. And of course you can collage your heart too. That would be kind of fun. Okay, so that's my crayons, and now I'm going to put a thing of paint down. I actually also have a dry one to do another demo. So right now I could choose between the inks. I think I'll do both so you guys can see. I've got my inks here, the Amsterdam. I've got my red, and I have my titanium white, which I love using. And I got a little palette over here, a little palette paper. I'm just gonna blend a little bit. You can also use paper plates to get your paint down. Nothing fancy, except the palette paper is kind of nice because it keeps it a little wet still. All right, so I'm gonna put down a little bit of weight. Sorry you guys can't see this because it's vertical today. What a bummer. I'm gonna put some of this acrylic down, acrylic inks. And I had a brush this morning. Oh, this is it that I was using. I really liked. Okay. All right, so right now I'm going to show you, I'm going right with the acrylic inks. So the acrylic inks are nice. If you have a background that is light, the acrylic inks work well. But if I have a background that is dark, the acrylic inks might be too transparent for you. So I'm just gonna put this down. It's just to show you the difference. When you use inks, you can see everything underneath, or like at least part of it underneath. So that could be really pretty, but I actually want it to be more solid. So I'm gonna take my red here, and isn't that beautiful color? Quinacridone Red. Took me a long time to figure out how to say that one, let me tell you. Okay, so I'm taking my this is a flat brush, and I'm just following my pencil marks. Okay. This is a time too where you could adjust I'm just going straight with this ink right now. With this paint. This is a time where you could also adjust your heart. Oh my, I forgot what I was going to say. You could adjust your heart by, let's say it was a little wonky and you didn't love it. Well, you can just paint on the outside of the lines and make it whatever you want. And I think right now everybody needs a little heart love, right? Hearts are one of the things where I love to find in nature. I'm sure you guys do too. Like if you find a heart leaf on the ground or a heart in the sky in the clouds or a heart rock, I go crazy. So my kids know that, and they always try to find something for me that's a heart shape, or at least tell me about it. All right, so I'm sort of adjusting my tops of my heart here with this fat brush still. So now I want to give it some substance. I just don't want to paint it flat. I want to give it a little bit of values to it. So here's an example where I've gone in and I've made it different colors. And so I'm going to go in with the white. So I'm mixing up now a little bit of red and a little bit of white. And I'm just mixing and going lightly. Still using this fat brush. I might switch to a smaller brush in a minute, but I also like to try to have one side, not always, but one side lighter than the other, giving it a little bit of shadow. Okay, I'm going to switch brushes to another. I'm just going to use this smaller brush. I'm going to go more white. See, if you don't take care of your brushes, then the edges get a little wonky, like this brush. So I'm not going to use that one. Let's see how this one is. Oh, that's got some green in it. Alrighty. All right, I'm going back to my first brush. I think this happened in another class I was doing. All right, so I'm just gonna add some more white, and you could bring in some new colors if you want, bring in a little bit of orange. I'm just doing some basic mixing here. Just this red and the white and making it lighter. And two, you could wait right now and let this dry and then go in with another coat of a different color or some of it. So I'm gonna go the edge. I kind of like that way that edge is looking, and I'm going to add a little bit more of this red straight from the tube. I love mixing acrylics. I remember taking a class when I think I was 9 or 10, and maybe a tiny bit older, and my teacher had me mix and mix and mix. So fun. You got to be fast though. That's probably why I like acrylics, because I like fast stuff. But you got to be fast because it will dry really quickly. So this is pretty good. I'm going to leave it the way it is. Think about too that you're going to be working on top of here. So I did this little demo. Here's my cooking class. But it's not as cute as this one, but it will do for what I'm trying to show you guys. Can you hear my chickens? They're laying an egg right now. Okay, so I have a very light layer of the acrylics. So you can already tell this one has got a little bit more acrylic than this one. This is also a darker background, so it's gonna come up more. But the reason I'm doing this is because for the sake of time, if I wanted to go with my Stabilo crayons on top of here, I'm gonna have to make sure it's perfectly dry. Because I don't like working with my Stabilos on wet acrylic paint. I mean, you certainly can because they can work with water, but for that creamy effect, I really like this to be dry. So here's a dry heart that I worked on earlier. And I'm gonna still keep in my pink. Okay, where's my pink? It's right here. I'm gonna keep working with my pink and this cream, maybe this red, I'm not sure, and maybe this purpley pink, we'll see. And then I'm gonna go in and do the same thing I was doing with that other layer on the background and just kind of work this heart and give it a little bit of interest. You know, it's not, I'm not taking this crayon and I'm coloring the whole thing, just parts of it. And it's a lot easier to see this live, but I mean in person, to see the kind of details that are coming through. Another thing I like to do is sometimes I can make little circles. You could do little flowers. Did you guys know that we had so many chickens and now we're down to 5? And my husband came home the other day and he goes, oh, I saw an ad. I think I might pick up 10 more chickens. I'm just like, oh no. No. The chickens are a lot of work, people. If you want them, they're a lot of work. Okay, so that is the pink and the white. And then let's say I wanted to just bring some little highlights of, not highlights, but just some little color. I'm going to do some squares or dots. So I'm decorating my heart. And I'm going to add this sort of purpley color here. This is a really pretty color when it's wet. And then I'm going to use this cream color and blend it in a little bit. Ugh, no, don't like that. Never mind. Going back to this one. Going back. And I'm just going to do some squiggles. It's so much fun just to kind of play, and it's not a big canvas. It's just a little piece of paper. So much fun. So that is a heart that I would probably at this point leave, and then let's pretend that this is dry and I've done that on that. Then I would go back and really start working on some of these backgrounds again. So I'm going to show you a couple of these up close. This one had some letters, and I went in and I saved some of these lines because I thought that was really fun. I think some of you guys know in my paintings I always have words. Well, this was a piece that had some words on it and some flower shapes. So I think that's really cool too, that you leave some of these up. There's a little tiny fly in here. You guys see it? This was marks that were already on the paper, so I wanted to leave those. I think this was like a gold little spray. And then these lines are really fun, doing teeny little black lines. Let's see where my black is. Teeny little black lines are fun too, like just little tiny bits of interest. This one got a little wonky. It got really thick right here, but it was hard for me to kind of not do anything about it. So I might go in and kind of fix that up a little bit, but it's pretty. It's like looking at a heart through a wet window. You know, it's a little bit blurry. And this one I liked. I actually, when I painted this one, I didn't paint the whole entire heart. I left some areas open. So that was kind of fun. A little bit of the blue from the background was showing up. This one, I had these lines, and they reminded me of like rays, you know, kind of light rays. And so I just did a lot of white down in here, and I really wanted to bring that kind of up. And then I don't know what's happening here. Something crazy must have been happening on Homeland. And then I like the little tiny, tiny black marks. And what was happening here? I think I used pencil, and I'm not a big fan. I didn't love that up there, but you know, it's interesting. I'm not too sure if I'll change that up a little bit. This was really fun. This was a bright ink. It was a fluorescent pink, and the green. I love the green and the pink together. And then the darker green on a lighter green background. So when you're working with these, really play around with your color combinations. And then this one already had a little heart inside the heart, so I wanted to leave that. I thought that was really cute. So I left that like that, and there you have it. Okay, so look, remember, your heart does not have to be a perfect heart. So I'm gonna flip us back around. Okay, ready? Hopefully we're still there. Did you guys like that? Okay, wait, I'm gonna put on my glasses in case you guys have a question. Let's see. Each layer, each card is, yes, Karen, so each one of these layers starts with So like, just so my background, and then I do my heart. So this would be like your second layer. I guess that white is really hard to see, huh? I don't know if you can see that heart. And then, where's my little demo? Let's see if I can find it. Then I paint my heart next. So that's another one. And then what I end up doing is I go back into these and really work to make sure that the heart and the background feel like they, like my edges are all nice and clean, and I can just keep adding layers. And so one thing too is experiment with paint pens, but remember the paint pens I like to use on the acrylics, not so much on where the my crayons are because of the wax. And you can definitely add other pieces of collage. Like you could take, let's say you could take this heart and you could put pieces of collage right on top. You could put little flowers in here, or or really pretty pieces of paper and put them in there too. And really just experiment with these colors. Look at that color and purple together. Oh my gosh, one of my favorite color combinations. And the greens. So when you're working on your backgrounds, pick colors that are completely different than the pinks. So I hope you guys liked that little demo. And I'm so sorry we're this direction. I don't know if we'll be able to get this one on YouTube. We'll see. But if not, I'll end up doing another little small mini lesson on this class and this heart arts. And just a couple things I want to shout out to my sister and my nephew. My nephew is got a big birthday tomorrow, and my sister has got a big birthday the next day. So happy birthday, you guys, and thanks for coming on. And before I go too, I want to do our inspirational card. And also, I'm hoping the time works. The reason I changed the time was, wait, we have a little question down here. I want to make sure I get it. What pencils do you use? I can get them in Spain. Oh, yeah. So the pencil I used to create my heart was just a regular pencil. It just wasn't even sharp. And then the Stabilos, I'll show you two different ones. The Stabilos are, I'm sure you can get them. Is that right reading? Stabilo. And also Neo Color 2s. So the thing about these is if you want to use them with water and paintbrush, you want to make sure they're water soluble. And I'm sure in Europe they have something like this or something similar. So type into Google water soluble crayons, and that's all they are. And if you don't have those, try pastels, except sometimes the pastels can just get a little too chalky, but oil pastels. And if that doesn't work and you don't have that at home, even colored pencils, just really have fun with it. So anyway, the reason I changed the time to 10 was because what was happening was I was doing the lives at 1 and then I wasn't getting much accomplished. But I love being here and sharing my art and being here with you guys. So I don't want to give that up. So it's 10 o'clock my time. I'm hoping you all can still figure out a way to see it. And, you know, they always rerun them, and I put them on YouTube. And I'm going to be doing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And that is for at least the next 2 to 3 weeks because I'm not going anywhere. And I don't know if you guys are going anywhere, but I just love, you know, being here. And I'm thinking on Wednesday already what we're going to do. And I'm thinking we might do a little Zentangle project with the doodle roses that we did last week. Okay, so I'm pulling a card. These are for my sister Susanna, who's got the big birthday coming up. Okay. Oh my God, this is a good one. All right, so I love these. The universe works fast when I'm having fun. I have a feeling that we did this one before, but I love it. Okay, so I hope you guys have a fun week. Fun. And doing art is fun, and let go. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in. Mwah! Stay well, stay safe, stay indoors or outside. Just stay close to your home. All right, love you guys.